Hello everyone, welcome to our show Creative World. I'm your host Shin Matsuba. We'll be introducing some amazing talented people, chatting with them in a one-on-one interview, hearing their stories, picking their brains, looking through the kaleidoscope of Creative World. Today's Creative World is sports. Today's guest is from the world of baseball. He serves as an executive and is involved in the management of Major League Baseball teams for the past 33 years. He helped bring a lot of very talented baseball players from overseas to the team. He has worked with LA Dodgers and currently works for another famous baseball team, the San Diego Padres. He's definitely a pioneer of the world. Please welcome Acey Kohrogi. Hello, Acey. Thank you very much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on the show.
So first question, could you tell us the story of how and why you started working as an assistant to the owner and became involved in managing the Major League Baseball teams such as Dodgers and Padres?
This is my 33rd season in professional baseball. I started working as an interpreter for a player development project between the Tokyo Giants and the Minnesota Twins, and that was in LA, California, single A baseball team in California League. And we had 4 players and a coach from Tokyo Giants playing a 144-game season, a minor league season in LA, California. And after that, I joined the front office to be more management role, and then worked my way up to assistant general manager of the single A team, which is a minor league team. You have probably 5 employees, so it's not a big deal. But and then after that, I went to Vancouver, British Columbia to run the AAA team, Vancouver Canadians, and I was acting owner there. After that, my father-in-law, who was a 27-year veteran of the Dodgers, Ike Kuhara, passed away suddenly. And Mr. O'Malley, the owner of the team, actually gave me an opportunity to be his assistant and the director of Office of the President. So I started working for the Dodgers in that way.
So you worked for the Dodgers for 20 years, and then did you ever think of working for any other teams? And what made you decide to work for the Dodgers for that long?
While I was there, very exciting time for Major League Baseball in Asia. We've done a lot. Of course, the first Korean player came, Channel Park. Hideo Nomo came, the second Japanese player from professional ranks in Japan, where I was involved with signing of the first Taiwan player, Chen Jingfeng, Major League player. I was involved with taking the team to Taiwan to play, the Major League team to Beijing to play. So there was so much going on within those 20 years that those days just flew. And, there's no way that I could be thinking about another team because, we're doing so much with the Dodgers and trying to do it for the long haul. So just basically, time flew for 20 years.
Wow. Over the course of that, since you know a lot about the famous Japanese baseball player Nomo, could you tell us a bit about him?
Hideo Nomo, to me, is highly intelligent, deep thinker, studies a lot, and I learn a lot from him outside of baseball too. As far as a baseball man, he's incredible. His evaluation skills is like no other. He can evaluate talent. He can coach. He coaches our minor league players, major league players. He advises baseball operations. He advises me. So as a Padres, we're so fortunate to have Hideo Nomo as our advisor.
Wow, so according to what you just said, the study part, so what kind of study he does? Like studying people or their skills or more tactic-wise or?
He studies players, who's doing good, why he's doing good. If you're looking at it, San Diego Padres have 300 players on staff. So you're looking at 30 teams, how many players? And then amateur players, Japanese League, Korean League, so on. So I asked him to help me in many ways to evaluate players. I sent him videos. What do you think about this Taiwan pitcher or Taiwan hitter? And so on. So he advises in many ways and he studies a lot about players. I think he watches the MLB.TV all day long. He knows a lot.
And then, Nomo and other talented players, based on your experiences, do you see anything that very talented, successful baseball players have in common?
In a scouting terminology, we call makeup. The description of makeup would be something like toughness, really important. Do you come to life and get that base hit that you need, or is it you're going to shrink and be scared and not do the job? Or is it going to be, are you a hard worker? Are you a good teammate? Are you a good person? All these play in baseball too, because it's a team sport, it's a people sports. You're working probably with about 60, 70 people every day. So we play 162 game in about 175 days or so. So basically there's hardly any days off. You're there with everybody every day. So the team chemistry is very important too. So I think, and then if you want to go back to Hideo Nomo again, back in the Dodger days, 7:00 game, he's not even pitching that day. He's at the ballpark at 12:00. He's in the gym, working really hard for like 3 hours, takes a shower, 3:30 batting practice, he does everything else everybody else does. That's not Hideo Nomo only. You're talking about Manny Machado does that. You're talking about Fernando Tatis. Any superstars work as hard as anybody in the gym. So, these people have a lot. So that makeup is probably what's most important. Natural talent is most important, but of course you have the natural talent, and then outside of that is the makeup.
That's a fantastic story. And then you helped recruit such famous Japanese baseball players, as you mentioned, as Kuroda, Nomo, Sato, when you worked for the Dodgers, right? And then how did you do that? Is there anything you keep in mind or think is important when recruiting good players?
Well, I think you have to sell yourself, sell the city. Southern California is the easiest sell for any Asian players, because we have everything here, but and the weather and everything. But at the same time, the players have to trust you. They have to be in a position where your reputation has to be good. So to give you a small story, an example of that is, Takashi Saito came over. I helped him. He came on a minor league contract, became an all-star, but we were very close, and he knows that I helped him. So when recruiting of Kuroda came, many teams wanted him. He was an international free agent. You don't have to pay posting money or anything, trade money to Japanese teams, and he can go anywhere he wants. So it was a recruiting battle among 30 teams. But at the same time, when I went to see him in Tokyo, Takashi Saito came with me, and he sat next to me, and we recruited Kuroda together. And I believe Takashi had a lot to do with signing of Kuroda. But because I can say, well, please ask Nomo, how I took care of him, or how the Padres system is, so on. So I think it's the people business that we're in. So it's the reputation, trust. Those are the most important thing in recruiting, I think.
So now with everything going on in this world right now, what kind of activities are you currently working on? Also, how does this difficult situation affect your work?
Last year was very difficult for us, but this year I went to spring training normally. I was in most home games in April and May. We're going to be going to the minor league team, the AAA, the AA, and the major leagues for, July, August, September. So we'll be doing most of the things. Plan to have instructional league fall training camps, that is instructional league in, September, October. So I intend to go there. And when Japan opens up, hopefully in September or something after the Olympics, so I plan on going there to scout too. But the funny story is, this is the first time that I had to recruit a player on Zoom. We had signed a player from Korea, a shortstop named Ha-Seong. And Kim, usually what you would do on a player recruiting is you bring him to the ballpark, you would have a big sign, welcome Kim Ha-Seong, and the message board is going crazy, and music's going, and we'll make a big deal out of recruiting. But I had to do everything on Zoom, so it was pretty tough. But one good thing that came out of that is because it's on Zoom, I was able to have my manager and a bench coach, infield coach, and these type of people were able to be in the meeting because they all can't be there at the same time, but we were able to do it off Zoom. So we were successful in recruiting a player off Zoom. So that was kind of a funny background story that we have.
Right. And since the Padres also makes a special effort to attract baseball players from Asian countries, right? So who would you like to bring to the team in the near future?
Well, let me say it this way. We know about every good player in Asia. I have scouts in Korea full-time, Taiwan full-time, Japan full-time, and they have, they'll travel through other countries in Asia to scout a tournament from, let's say, a player from Philippines or something, or China. So we know about just about every player that's out there in Asia, right? So it becomes the rule. Okay, the posting system will allow somebody to come out. Let's say Darvish Yu came out on posting system. Ohtani came out on posting system. And then, or international free agent like Hiroki Kuroda. So all depends on the role and when they come out. But we have enough information to make a decision to say, yes, he's going to pitch in the big leagues or he's going to play in the big leagues for the Padres. We have a position for him, so let's go after him. So it's not like we go after every player that's out there that's good. We just go after what fits Padres and passes our personality in the makeup test too.
And what position do you currently hold at the Padres? And then what kind of work do you do there?
So my title is Director of Pacific Rim Operations. So my job is basically, I'm in charge of all scouting and recruiting from Asia. So any players that come from Asia, I'm the negotiator basically too, and the scouts that work for me. And we'll send about 6 American scouts to Asia too during the season per year, and they cross-check our work to the Asian players too, and then we all make a decision. So let's say we sign a player. Like this year we have Darvish Yu and we have Kim Ha-Seong. So I have to interview and sign interpreters for them too. So I have a Korean interpreter I signed, and then a Japanese interpreter that I was involved in signing, and I have to help manage them too. Get acclimated to Padres, and then we have 2 Japanese trainers, massage specialists. So I have to deal with those guys too. So I have to send them bring them back. So anything to do with Asia in baseball, I'm pretty involved, And then also, I have sent several players, probably close to 100 players to Asia too, to play in Asian professional baseball, Taiwan, Korea, Japan. So I help players from the Padres. If we don't have an opportunity for them, then we will give them an opportunity to go to Asia and play, So I do help current Padre players and former Padre players to go to Asia to play. Now, in recent years, I have been kind of getting involved with the business side. I work with Sergio Del Prado, who's the senior VP, business side, and we've been helping with the sponsorship and or marketing. So I'm kind of involved in business too, not only baseball.
Right. That's fantastic. I was wondering though, what was your initial motivation for moving to the Padres?
Well, my motivation was friendship. Friendship is the most important thing, I think, and the most important reason why I moved to the Padres. The president and the general manager, AJ Preller, who's my boss, him and I used to work together with the Dodgers back in 2002 or 3 or somewhere around there, for a while. And then Logan White, who's also number 2 man for the Padres, was my boss for 13 years with the Dodgers. And then most importantly, I think Peter Seidler, the owner, is part of the O'Malley family who owned the Dodgers for 50 years. So all that friendships is definitely the reason why I'm there. And I'm lucky to be there.
And in recent years, there has been an increase in the number of people who want to work not only as major leaguers, but also in the MLB, right? So how can they get into that industry and work there?
Let me just say it this way. In a Petco Park, you're looking, and you have every job almost available, You're looking at, let's say, medical teams there, So if you want to be into sports medicine, they're there. If you want into turf management, grounds crews are there. If you want to be into security guard, then there's security. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I think whoever wants to get into baseball business or the sports industry, they should really study that industry and what type of jobs are available. And then let's say you like numbers and you like statistics, then really study that and become a professional at that, and then maybe go apply for the analytic department. So, I love baseball and I want to work in baseball is one way of doing it, but I think we're professional sports, so you better be professional, you better be good at something if you're going to join the team. So I would recommend specializing in something that you want to specialize in.
Right. Wait, there's part 2. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.